L'accord de Paris pour le climat est accepté.
We are in a race against time. The area of consumption without consequences is over. The power to build a better world is in your hands.
Now is the time for ratification and implementation. It is the time to act together.
Action on climate change is essential for creating a livable future. I count on your support.
Assalamualaikum and a very good day to everyone. I am NURUL NATASHA IZZETTY binti Muhammad AZAMRI, and today I would like to present to you guys on question 1 and also question 2. So for question 1, there are several consequences for not taking action to control climate change and also the harmful effect if lowering the carbon emissions. First at first, rising sea levels is one of the consequences whereby ice fields melt due to the increasing temperature that causes the level of the sea to rise. Furthermore, changing weather trends and extreme weather as temperature rise due to the atmosphere that can hold more water vapor, in which it allows rainfall in larger scale as well as runoff during drier conditions. This can be seen as Western US highlighted that the extreme drought since 2013, where California started the driest year on record. There will also be pressure on water and food supply due to the earthworms, as well as impact on wildlife and ecosystem, in which there will be 30% to 50% of the world's land and marine animal species may be extinct by 2100. In accordance to a report, ocean carbonate level for coral skeleton has been decreased by 25%, whereby there are 9 countries that are vulnerable to reef damage, which are Haiti and Fiji. Now, let's move on to question 2 on moral responsibility of human ethics on climate change. So the first moral responsibility of human on climate change is the improvement in energy efficiency, whereby conservation and innovation to reduce energy demands will help to decline greenhouse gas emission. This can be seen as countries like United States, United Kingdom and Australia conserve the energy consumption by lowering it from 10% to 25%. Next one, plant trees and hanging baskets. Planting trees can help to store carbon during the lifetime of the tree. For instance, Paris people are encouraged to take part in the competition of winning blooming prizes with drought resistant with plants. Furthermore, changes in agricultural, forestry and other land use practice, whereby a source of massive GHG emissions and waste biomass could be renewed, to biochar as it stores carbon in soil for thousands of years. As we can see, a change in practice within existing production systems can cut agricultural emissions around 30% in accordance to the UN Food and Agriculture Organization. Apart from that, the system of count the carbon can contribute more in order to reduce carbon emissions, in which count the use of gas and electricity bills as to know how much carbon dioxide pollution that produce. There are also a few harmful effects if lowering carbon emission, whereby greenhouse effect could contribute to extreme weather, food supply interferences, as well as cause illness. Apart from that, air quality will be decreased since a report from IPCC recorded the impacts of global warming of 1.5 degrees Celsius that shows the effect of lowering carbon footprints. Another harmful effect is most of the flora and fauna will be endangered, in which a study by SHAH has highlighted that 47% of land mammals and 23% of birds have already endured negative effects from climate change. Lastly, scarcity of food could develop anytime as carbon emission is crucial in the process of food production.
Assalamualaikum warahmatullahi wabarakatuh. Hi everyone, good afternoon. My name is Muhammad Shah bin Muhammad Zain. Ladies and gentlemen, the usage of fossil fuels cause air pollution in China. 7 out of 10 most pollutant cities in the world can be found in China. This is where China decides to invest a lot of money for renewable energy. China introduced the Energy Technology Innovation 5-year plan specifically to build wind energy. Throughout 2020, China government is ready to spend over 360 billion US dollars to tackle on their renewable energy project. The results of the plan indicate that China will be able to lower carbon dioxide emission by pursuing a green energy strategy that will create 720,000 new jobs at the same time. Lowering down the carbon dioxide emission will surely save the planet another day, and at the same time strengthening their economy. China's economy will be better every day with the help of renewable energy project. Another example of balancing between the current tangible cost and the future consequences is by making the tangible cost of controlling climate change into an attraction to the tourist and economic engine. A new building will be built in Netherlands around 2021. The name of the building is the Dutch Windmill. It is some sort of a giant version of traditional windmill. This structure can generate electricity to power 1,000 homes in the city of Rotterdam. It also can soak up solar energy, collect and recycle water. At the same time, it offers attraction to the tourists. Tourists can experience the view of Rotterdam from the structure. It also serves as a hotel and residence for 72 apartments. In conclusion, the money or tangible cost invested for controlling the climate change can also serve to increase and strengthening the economy. It is a matter of how creative the government to manipulate or creatively innovate how the profit came into the account. So the question is, if I were in the position to recommend environmental policy changes or action, what would it be? The first thing I would recommend is every building in the country that will be built starting the year of 2020 is able to create energy. Like what I mentioned earlier, the Dutch Windmill in Rotterdam. It is a stunning building that can create energy and also act as a tourist attraction. Imagine if the entire skyscraper in Malaysia can be similar to it. Malaysia will be the top country to reduce climate change in the future. Secondly, I would encourage new policies and empower existing policies regarding gas emission. Empowering net energy metering (NEM), the existing initiative by the government. The empowered initiative can not only allow building owners to cut down their electricity bills but also reduce carbon emission, and it is expected to encourage rooftop solar energy generation. Or maybe we can consider implementing tax incentive to those companies that implementing solar leasing activities with income tax exemption of 70% for up to 10 years. There are numbers of initiatives can be suggested, but it is a matter of how ready we are to adapt to this initiative.
Hi, Assalamualaikum. My name is Nisa Sabrina by AZMAN, and I'm going to further elaborate on the questions that have been shown earlier. Do prosperous countries should take responsibility? My answer will say yes, of course, obviously, extremely yes. The reason being is that when we talk about these prosperous countries, they are the wealthiest. You know, in this entire world, we have 3 stages of countries that we can differentiate it. We have the prosperous countries, and then we have the developing countries, and then we have the poorest countries. So when we talk about these prosperous countries, it means that they have more resources and they doesn't have financial difficulties. By that means, if they contribute more funds, they can also help the developing countries and also the poorest countries. However, it doesn't mean that the wealthiest countries have to cope with all of the funds. The developing countries and the poorest country also have to come together, take out this responsibility, because I believe that every countries have to contribute their own responsibility based on their capability and also their resources availability. The other reason that I would like to highlight why I say that prosperous countries have to curb with this is because here, the data here I would like to show here, there is about 52% gas emission was done by this prosperous country. However, look at the outcomes. About 50% of the global health was received by them also. Who is more responsible? Obviously, the prosperous country. Look at the data here for the poorest country. They only do 10% of carbon emission, but they only receive 8% of the global health. We have to ensure, the last thing that I would like to say, that we have to ensure that we come together to ensure there is a fair and shared approach toward loss and damage, in order for us to make sure that everyone in this world take part and contribute based on their capabilities and responsibilities in curbing this situation. Move on to the next questions. Why and why not? My answer for that question will be absolutely no. Why? The reason is very simple. When we talk about this climate responsibility, nobody should be exempted, regardless if they have to use it for their economic sustainability or not. We are talking about taking care of the world for a greater benefit towards every single individuals and also living things. If we are being reluctant and give exemptions to the developing countries to keep on doing carbon emissions, the Paris Agreement will be a total worthless. The reason being is that in this world we have 195 countries and around 137 countries are labeled as the developing countries. So, do you think that by giving the exemptions are going to be better? Obviously, no. The second point I would like to highlight is about we have to ensure we lower the deleterious impact of rapid climate change on economic activity. We have to open up our mind and not rely too much on giving complaints that we are unable to use renewable energies in exchange to what we have used in order to conduct our economic activity. And the last one is that we have to ensure clean economic growth, developments, and sustainability in this entire world. Ladies and gentlemen, you have to remember this. It is a best interest of the entire world to come together and help the developing countries to curb with this climate responsibility, or be called as climate change.
Question 7. The climate change agreement approved in Paris is based on voluntary goals and pledged by participating countries. Will it be ethically permissible to impose carbon emission goals on countries and individuals and enforce them with penalties? Based on our opinion, it will be unethically permissible to impose the carbon emission goal and enforce the penalties. There are certain arguments that can be pointed out based on the agreement made to achieve the climate change. According to Bjorn Lomborg, he stated that the global warming is a major problem which is caused by the fossil fuels. However, he mentioned that the agreement made in Paris was irrational due to the reason that the objectives will be achieved too little at a greater cost. One of the objectives proposed in the agreement is to keep global warming well below 2 degrees Celsius. This desired goal is too ambitious, and most scientists have predicted that even if the countries in the Paris Agreement honor their carbon reduction commitments, the Earth's temperature will still increase by 3 degrees Celsius by the end of century compared to pre-industrial levels. Climatologists have long said that just a 2-degree increase will cause a worldwide catastrophe. The participating countries need to significantly increase their individual carbon reduction efforts.
Nonetheless, it can be viewed that the environmentalists are too eager in demonizing the usage of the fossil fuels, since they were emphasizing on the issues more as if the major cause of the global warming was only specifically by the use of fossil fuels. It would be truly unfair for those poor and developing countries who barely have the cost to cover up with a cost to use another alternative sources of energy such as solar, wind, and renewables. There aren't enough incentive for investing in sustainability. Research has shown the most effective way to address climate change is to take investment dollars away from companies that harm our planet and to invest that money in companies that actively promote environment and social sustainability. Unfortunately, the Paris Agreement does little to encourage this redirection of funds. Environmentalists do not come to understand that although fossil fuels do cause environmental problems, however, not using them may cause even greater problems.
Last but not least, I would like to conclude that another point when we talk about this Paris Agreement, obviously there are pros and cons. So there is one article that have been extracted, which is written by such as Bestlick, stated that one of the cons of this agreement is that there is no fines imposed toward those countries who have withdrawn from the agreement. To get a better view of this statement is that, for instance, in the year of 2017, President Donald Trump have made a declarations to withdraw from this agreement, and United States are no more longer in part of the agreement, and there is no sanctions or monetary fine to those countries who don't commute to what they have agreed earlier. This is something that's very lacking. It means that United States are free to do carbon emission and not having certain standards in achieving what the desired goals by the Paris Agreement. Ladies and gentlemen, we have come to an end of our presentation. Thank you very much for your kind attention. I hope that our presentation today going to open up your mind to be together with us to curb and keep aware that the global change is something that is very crucial and need a further or rapid action to be taken. Thank you very much.